something a little bit different. We're going to do some patch making. And I've been meaning to get around to this for quite a while, ever since I got my MPC live. And I wanted to sample basically some VSTs that I had. And at the time I got the MPC live, there was no auto sampling. And now that there's auto sampling, there has been for a while. I first started with my Mini Nova, and then I never really played with the PC software end of the MPC stuff. So I was having some problems getting the MPC hardware to actually sync up with the software, and I kind of gave up and didn't auto sample any VSTs. And then I realized I could actually auto sample in the MPC software and then just put that on a flash card and put that into the MPC hardware pretty easily. I actually don't need the MPC live hooked up to do the auto sampling. So what you're listening to right now is a patch that I kind of tinkered with. What I want to do with Absynth, which was one of my favorite music programs when it first came out, is I want to use this mutate function, and I want to play with the patches. I know some people are purist and they think that you should build a patch completely from scratch from the ground up, but a couple of reasons I like to use presets and then tweak them to my flavor is because, one, you can mutate, especially with this stuff, you can mutate patches into a whole world of other things really quickly and then tweak it to your flavor. The second thing is, when you go through and you start playing with the patches, you start tweaking the parameters, you start to learn what the parameters do and how to use the software, or in some cases hardware, more effectively. You learn what different things are. You learn the ins and outs of it. Like, you're getting under the hood and getting into the guts of it. So I think that as a learning experience, taking pre-existing patches and playing with those and manipulating them is a really great way to learn. So that's a patch I had. I started with, let's see here, let's go to the browser. I'll show you what I started with, and we're going to play with this today. That was something I got out of it in about 5 minutes of just tweaking around. And I like this. It's modeled after the band Air. I think they're a French band. I think it's kind of like Daft Punk-ish. Not as Daft Punk, but that same kind of thing. Two guys who make some interesting music. They're French. I think Daft Punk's French. I'm not sure. So anyways, I'm going to put the hold on there, and then I'll let you hear the patch as it's original. So it has 3 different parts here. So it has this little like theremin kind of sound with the little dink dink on it. I don't know what you'd call that. Then it has the bass, which I really like this bass. And then it has this part, which is what I manipulated earlier. I actually don't remember how I manipulated that. What I think I did, and let's see, I went into envelope, and Absynth is a little weird because I'm still learning. Even though I played around with it previously, long time ago, I never really got in depth with it and learned all the ins and outs. So I'm kind of learning as I go again. And one of the things that I've noticed, I think, each oscillator, I guess this would be, is has a filter here. I like filters with knobs instead of just little digital readouts. But I believe that'll be my filter, my low pass filter. So each one has a filter, and I think you can do a filter over the entire 3 when they're all summed together. I'm not sure if you can route these differently, but let's see. Let's go ahead and start tweaking our patches. And the reason I am concerned about playing with the filter this way is because a lot of patches I make, I tend to play with the filter a lot. And like tweaking a knob seems more intuitive and seems more natural than kind of dialing in some digits here. But we're going to leave that for the moment. We're going to go to envelope. And then we see here different envelopes. An amp, frequency, resonance. And so A1 would be oscillator 1, I believe, or part 1, which would be this here, A, B, C, part 1, 2. So that would actually be modulating, looks like, the frequency of the filter. And this would be modulating the resonance of the filter. And then of course you have your amp, and this is doing something on part B with the pitch, which is going to woo, woo, woo. Don't mind my really bad flat imitation of what that is. So anyways, I'm not sure what this would be, but we'll play with that at some point, I'm sure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something here. And I think what I added was for oscillator A, I believe it was. I added a main pitch here. And then what I did is I go to transform, and I loaded an envelope template. And I loaded a step sequence. And let's see here. And when I started playing with the step sequence, I got some, like an interesting little sound there, which I really liked. Seemed a little out of tune from the rest, but so I can slow it down. It looks like to my beat. I'm gonna just set that back to where it was, which was 8. And then if we go in here, we can see like this is our frequency. And I don't think I played with this really. I don't think there was a need for me to. Just to hear what it does, really. And on my main pitch here, I'm just gonna play around with it a little bit. And when you select a node, you can play with it up here, get it like very, very detailed as far as how you want to punch it in exactly where you want it. What I think I'm going to do is, can I get rid of that? Oh, you know what? No. What I want to do is load envelope, and then I'm going to try, did I do it in the 8th? I think I want to try a 16th. Let's see what that sounds like. Because I did an 8th originally. I'm going to get a little more variation this way, right? would set like a BPM or anything in here. Attributes you're performing. BPM 100%. Let's see. That doesn't really change anything. Alright, so we're just going to go back to our envelope. And I don't know if I want to play with my frequency, but maybe let me just put in a filter option here. Put a second filter. And we're going to also load another envelope. We'll load an 8 this time, just to... So I think it stopped because I loaded a filter. Oh, then we can change things like that too. I don't like that, and what I'd like to know is how I could not turn it off, but basically delete this. Can always bypass it, but that's something I'll have to learn at some point, is how to delete that right there. I don't seem to have a way to be able to do that. So I'm going to see, look at this frequency here. Can I select all of them? There we go. And I want to play with the effect a little bit, because right now it's on multi-comb. I'm not sure what eightherizer is. Kind of sounds a little bit like a flange. Let's crank it to 11 and see what it sounds like. Okay, that gets interesting. I don't know if this will... Wow, that's a lot of dots there, but I like the surround. I remember playing with the surround back in the day, and it doing the little rotating, kind of spread it out a little bit. I remember what I would do is I would have like strings and stuff that the effect would kind of rotate around the speakers. So if you had speakers set up around the room, the sound would actually kind of travel around the room. I'll slow that down. Put a filter on here, that looks fun. I always like playing with filters. Resonators sounds more like a reverb or an echo. Of course, I like to, as I've learned, kind of use a high pass on things, clean up that bottom end. put 3 on here, but you can only do one effect at a time overall. And so we got echoes. I'll do 3. They're all by default 25% a piece. $0.25, 25% apart, huh? So let's see. Not really doing anything for me there. So that's on the master. Might have to bring A in, but I don't feel like I'm getting like echoes out of this. Or at least nothing interesting. There we go. The multi-tap, that's pretty good. I like to change my spread of the different ones here so it's kind of evenly distributed, I guess. But I like this. But as I do this, I'm losing more of that sequenced part there. But that's okay because it's kind of subtle. Bring the feedback down just a little bit. And then we'll check out multi-comb and pipe just to see what it sounds like. I like that too. And let's see. I don't know what pipe is supposed to be. Like reverb, I guess. Like a multi-tap reverb or something. Okay, so I'm going to stick with multi-tap, I think. And let's see what it sounds like in different notes. It's interesting. I like that. Alright. So I'm not going to mess with the LFO or anything like that. And then what I want to do now is I want to play with these different parts here. I like this on its own, just as what it is. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. And let's see, which one do we want to play with second? Oh, and you know what I didn't do? I want to try this also. So it's on soft trumpet. Let's scroll through the different presets and see how that changes. Because I tend to like to use saws a lot in my stuff. Triangle gives it a little bit more of a higher metallic kind of sound, I guess. I like that better already. See, I like the saws better. I like that kind of pluckiness that the saw has and the buzz. Square. Square filter 2 sounds good. Organ sounds good. I like that. Kind of has a spacey vibe to it, so I'll keep organ in mind. There's not too many, well, I mean, there's, it's stupid to say not too many options here. There's not a whole lot more to go through. Vox female. Sounds good. That kind of has a little bit of the pluckiness that the saw has. But I think it has more of that low-end sequence going on too. And then back to soft trump. Ooh. That's kind of neat. It's almost like there's a filter on there. Alright, so I think what I'm going to go do is, what was it, organ? Yeah, I like organ 1 there. Let's go with that. Well, hold on. Yeah, let's go with organ 4 because that kind of spacey part of it, the high end, like little bell part, is a little bit more subtle with organ 1. So I think the bass will conflict with this right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to a saw. Basically like the octave or the I forget what the word I'm looking for is. Oh wait, I went to square. Whoops. Let's crank it all the way up. Okay, let's take it to, I usually like to go to 24. Maybe we'll change the voices, give it like a little bit of chorus effect there. That kind of turns it into some like detuned techno chord or something. I filter balance, maybe. And of course, you have so many options. One of the things about having a ton of options in your stuff, in your VSTs and everything, is it can take a long time to learn what everything is because there's just so much. It could be overwhelming. You could start to skim through everything and then just be like, oh man, like it all starts the same. What sounds good in here? Like you could go through this forever. Let's go to bells. I like the sound of that, right? No, I guess not. Whistling analog. See, and all of that really means absolutely nothing to me because I don't know what it is yet. So I'm going to put that back to normal because I like the way it was. Of course, you can mutate individual modules, and I'll talk about that more in another video, but I'll show you what it is at the end of this video here. So I kind of like what it's doing. Oh, I like that. Like that on its own is just a nice kind of background thing to play with, to just add on to that. But to have something like that just kind of running through a whole track with some drums to kind of match it. And then let's see if we're going to add this to it. Envelope is this would be B main pitch right here. Let's give that let's tweak that a little bit. And you can right click and add another part on it. So basically, like I could add a whole bunch here. Let's see. And that just messed it up. So let's see if I can delete it. So, the only problem is I don't know how to delete any of these. Oh, there you go. I highlighted it and then right-clicked on it. Let's see what rhythmic does. So I think all the rhythmics will basically do that. Take that out, and I think that right there I think is good enough. I like that. I like what that's doing. Now the only issue with auto sampling things like this is because it's a sequence. If I did a key here, say I auto-sampled every octave, that would mean it would time stretch in between this key and this key. Even if I did, 1, 2, 3, it kind of changes the time of the sample. So I would have to actually do the whole range of keys that I want. Like each one would have to be sampled, every single key, to kind of. And that's one of the things with a lot of the Absynth patches that you build. There's a lot of time going in on it. And it's something that is going to be really tricky to do if you're trying to like do every third key or every fifth key, because you're going to have the sample speeding up or slowing down to make it a different pitch. So what I would do normally is I would find the range that I'm gonna play with. So I like that. I like that down there. But I feel like if I sampled at this key and I let it fill in the rest, which would time stretch everything below that octave. And what would be the highest I'd want to go? I think right there. So that'd give me what, like 3 octaves? And that would be a pretty hefty, I think, sound pack or a key group when I auto-sample that. So another thing I sometimes ask myself when I auto-sample is, this has a lot of reverb or this effect on it. So let's play that. And what is that? C2 is my main key right here. Yeah. So I would sample from C1 to C3, C4. So that's a lot of octaves to have every single key going. The other thing is when you auto sample, this is like a looping patch, and the reason I question using any of the effects on here that are like kind of reverb or anything like that is because when you play it or when you sample it and you're trying to loop it, that could throw your sampling off. So let me see, how do I bypass? I think I would. Okay, so that's without the effects. And then I would have to, on the MPC, add the reverb and the delay and stuff like that back as part of the patch, which I think would be the wisest thing to do. Because if you listen to this, let me put it back on hold. Go up a key, a couple keys. So if you listen to this, a loop point would be fairly easy to get. So on the MPC, when I play this, looping would be very, very simple. It would take some time because I'd have to do each individual key. But if I had the effects on when I auto sample this, the looping part would be a little bit more difficult because you see it kind of has a little bit of a delay, reverb to it. Yeah, and that would be very hard to deal with. So basically at this point, since I like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save sound as, so I can call this up in the future. And I'm going to call that space plunkers. Because it's got like a little bit of a space sound. So now that I got my patch all set up, what I will do now is we will auto sample, and I'm going to try to remember where we do that through, because it's been a couple months since I've used this here. So tools, auto sampler, here we go. And track name, resample left and right. So the minimum note I want is, yeah, octave 2, C2, max note. So that's like already where I want it. So I'm going to set my note stride to 1. And what I want to do in the future with some auto sampling is I would like to take the different parts, like the different oscillators, and sample each one and have it so depending on the velocity that you hit, which part comes in. You can do a whole lot with layering samples. However, I think, let me see, let me cancel this, go back here because I forgot I want to do my note length. So let's see what. Oh, let me see here. So I think to be on the safe side, because I want to have some sample to trim. Let's see, and I want it to be able to loop. So I'm going to auto sample. I think I'm going to give it like 6 seconds. Let me give it 7 just to be on the safe side. And we'll let it have a little tail there. Let me see here. That's milliseconds. Oops. Or, yeah. Let's go 7, tail 2. And we're going to name it, what do we call it? Space plunkers. And we're going to not auto trim. I'm going to turn the looping off because I'll do that. Actually, yeah, we'll leave the looping on for now because we can always edit that and do it. And so while it auto samples there, I can tell, okay, do I need to cancel it out before I let the whole thing finish and then make any adjustments there? Or I think the good loop point is right there. So I think we're good. Hopefully I won't have to resample this. However, I saved it in Absynth, so it's okay. I can pull it back up and we're good to go. And as it's doing its thing, let me talk about the auto sampling. Musically, I think this is one of the greatest things to be implemented in the MPC family here. To be able to take any synthesizer that I come across or any patches from basically any source and auto sample it, like it's time saving. It's just amazing what you can do, especially once you start layering samples as well. Like I said previously, you can take a sample, like a string, sample that. You can then add a bass, sample that, and then you can do different things with, like the string would come in, 3 seconds later the bass would come in, or depending on how hard the velocity, how hard you hit the key, like the string comes in, but if you hit it like really hard, the string comes in with the bass. There is, even with auto sample, there's a lot of work to be done as far as going back, getting your loop points, especially with things like this, or if you want to have like say some string pads or something like that kind of carry. You definitely have to put in the time and effort to get it to sound good on your loop points. However, some of the things that are really awesome is, I don't have to record it, name the file, save the file, place the file. Like, this does everything for me as far as that's concerned automatically. I have my notes all in order, everything's ready to go, and then when I save it, you're set there. And this is sampling every note for, what was it, 4 octaves. So it's going pretty quick. And I think there might have been actually where I might wanted to have cut off. I think I went too high. But it's there now, and whatever. Let it continue sampling. We're almost done here, so maybe in post I'll have edited this part out. We'll see. And ta-da, we are done. So as I mentioned, one of the things with auto sampling is if I sample this note and I say a stride of like 5, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I believe that would be this key that gets sampled next. So in between there, it would speed it up or slow it down depending on where it is in the thing. So sometimes that can sound really bad with things that are timed, and it can just throw your whole sequence off there. Sometimes though, if you say you auto sample it at like I think I did C2, anything below that could sound very interesting depending on the patch. So you can hear it slow down. Like the actual sequence, the timing of the sequence is slowed down now. Which I'm fine with that on these lower notes, because I'm not really going to use that for anything, I don't think. And if I did use that, it would either be like a sample that I used, or it would be like it would just be that one note repeating over for something. There you go. So let's see. Bring Absynth back up. And then, as I said before, let me go back to the original patch, because this is my patch. Let me actually put my effects on. So that's my patch. In the original patch. So you can hear some of the original kind of vibe in that patch, but it's definitely like a unique patch unto itself now. Like, you wouldn't hear the two and go, I know where that patch came from. You just took that from this and altered a preset. As if it really matters if you alter a preset. Don't be a snob. So the other thing is this sound mutation. This is one of the things I love about Absynth 5, is the ability to just take a sound and hit mutate, and you have mutation amount and the random amount, and you can just play with these settings here. And you can retry your random. And let me crank that up. Not sure what's going on there. I mean, that is totally alien from what it originally was. Now, the thing with mutating patches is you're going to get a lot of like really bad patches before you find that diamond in the rough. So there's a lot of playing around with mutating. Like that, I can't even hear anything on there really. Oh, that's kind of neat. Let me hold that. I mean, really quickly. Let me see, what do we, multi-comb? Actually, let's take it to resonators. No. Alright, well that was stupid. Okay. So anyways, as I said, you do get a lot of crap patches. And then you get something like this, which you're like, okay, I could work with this as like a nice Blade Runner kind of pad right there. Add some like little flowy piano with maybe some choir on it, and you got like a nice 80s soundtrack there. And what I like about the mutate, which it seems totally random, because if I leave that patch, I come back, I'm back to my original patch. When I start mutating these again, it doesn't give me the same result twice. It's definitely got a little bit of the original patch in there. You hear the little theremin sounding part. But when you mutate stuff, it doesn't do the same thing twice. I don't know how it randomizes it with some algorithm or something, But so if you play with the patch and you move on, you come back later and you're like, let me try to mutate that again, you're going to get totally different results. We got a little sequencing going there. Like, this mutate is amazing. Like, this would be something good to play with there. I mean, you could sit here for hours and play with this and come up with your own unique patches just by mutating and then just tweaking a little bit and going, okay, let me see. We'll change that to something, and we'll change. Oh, that's a granular. Okay. And I didn't say it would be good when I changed this. Well, that sounds interesting. And then just auto sample away. I mean, this is amazing what this does. And that's why I like Absynth. And I wanted to be able to take pads and strings and all the different patches out of here and then put them on my MPC and get away from my computer. However, the more I play with Absynth and the MPC live software to auto sample it, the more I'm happy that I do have a computer in my setup, not directly doing anything, just mainly for auto sampling, but to take these sounds and bring them into the MPC is wonderful. And so that's our patch for the day. Let me see if I go back to that. Where were we? Space Plunkers. There we go. So that's our patch for the day. I think it's a pretty good patch, and hope to find some use for it somewhere. And of course, I will upload it at some point to Dropbox, and I think I'll upload the Absynth patch as well. So if you have Absynth, you can play with it yourself and manipulate it within there. But there you go.